Hey guys, what's up? This is Doctorian, and today I want to talk about 6.2. I want to talk about the drop-off in the subscription and all the stuff that has been on my mind and how things are going for Warlords of Draenor right now. So it's going to be a little bit of a rambling, a little bit of a mishmash of everything. First of all, 6.2. Where is the 6.2 content on my channel, on my YouTube channel? This is about the content. This is the Time Walker dungeons. This is the monotons, what you're seeing me doing with a pickup group, which was, I will get into that later. But there are, for the Alliance side, some huge amount of problems, and therefore I have almost no content. I'm really surprised that there are even Alliance people being able to do the raid and to make videos about the content, because I had enormous problems. I had contact with Bliss really a lot about how to fix things, what was going on, and I was really annoyed by how bad it was. So let's start. The first thing is we're gonna get a shipyard. I'm gonna call it a shipyard in 6.2. The moment when 6.2 starts is that King Ring, Varian Rin, is in your garrison, gives you a quest. You need to do certain things, and you need to free a builder, a guy who can build a shipyard and who can build ships for you. First time I logged into the PTR, I could go on that quest. You get a flight point from the flight master in your garrison. Then you take off, he brings you to the right flight point, and then when you're there, you free him, do some more questing, free him, bring him back to your garrison, and then he would build your shipyard. And then you got a quest that he would make a boat for you and build a ship for you. And with that ship, you would start the invasion to Tanan Jungle. But that quest was bugged, because as an alliance we could not turn it in. And we could not turn that quest in for like 2 or 3 weeks, guys. Maybe even longer. When I started on the PTR, it was about 3 weeks ago, maybe even longer. I don't exactly remember. There was some work around that worked for it. There were some, but they were not 100% guaranteed. They did not work for me. There was a lot of shit going around. The problem was, if you were in that quest line and you would change the horde, that gave major issues as well. And then you would not be able to log into the garrison at all, not being able to log into the PTR at all. So I'm stranded there. So I was like, okay, I cannot do the invasion of Tanan Jungle. I could not finish that quest because I couldn't turn it in. And I contacted GM about it. I made a ticket about it, and the first thing they said is like, the PTR is free to play and there is no support for it. And I got a response through my real life mail, and I was really pissed off about it, because we're trying to help Blizzard creating a better World of Warcraft game, a better Warlords of Draenor game. So I actually contacted the GM in game, and I talked about it with that GM, saying like, dude, this should not be happening, because you're asking the public to test something for you to help create you a better game, and then the moment they need help or support because you guys got bugs in the game, you're saying, yeah, sorry, it's free to play, so no support for you. Then if we can't test on the PTR, we can't give you our feedback, so you're gonna stay there with a crappy with crappy testing or no testing at all. So I was very lucky. I had a GM on. I had a GM, and then he fixed that for me. So then I could finally start the invasion of Tanan Jungle, but that took about 2 to 3 weeks. I had to wait. I had 3 other GMs before I got this guy, and it was a lot of mess. It was really bad design, bad communication, and bad support from Blizzard, to be honest. So we finally did that, and I got into Tanan Jungle, which I did some recording, and then you have to fly over the place, recruit some people, fly to different points, and get back to Rin at some point. So I did. So I did the invasion of Tanan Jungle, got back to Rin, which you have to do, and it crashed again. And it's not that, it's even so bad that the moment you go back to Rin to turn in that quest, the complete game crashes. You got kicked out of PTR with some error code, and it asked me to send a report to Blizzard, which I did now for 4 times. I sent it in a report, show that like I'm on this quest line. I need to finish things up with Rin, with going to King Varian Rin to finish off the quest line, and so that the invasion continues and all that kind of stuff. And I can't turn it in because every time I turn it in, the PTR just crashes. You get a disconnect from the PTR, and then it says, yeah, sorry, we got an error code, and bye, and please send this report and describe what happened, which I'm doing every time, and still they did not fix it. So I dove into these time walker dungeons. The only thing I did in between when I was doing the boring quest flying from flight point A to B, I queued up and I got a queue twice. So I recorded this, but that's why I didn't do even the looking for raid. The looking for raid is already from 6.2. We have the Hellfire Citadel, the new raid, which even the looking for raid is out right now, the first swing, and I cannot do it because right now if I log in on my warrior, it crashes. I'm transferred my druid because I couldn't transfer, because the moment I logged in I couldn't transfer my druid. I found a way around that through the forums, not through Blizzard, but through the forums. Right now I'm working on my druid, and I'm really scared to start the quest lines because I'm hearing from a lot of Alliance guys, shit is still bugged, we can't test anything, but due to garrisons, if you swap over from Alliance to Horde on the PTR, which is free of course, you're gonna be bugged out completely, not being able to play the game. So I'm kind of scared right now to go on my druid and to get things done. So yeah, I think the PTR is on the Horde side. From the guys who are playing Horde on live service and playing their Horde characters on the PTR, everything seems to be fine, and I'm kind of pissed off about it. The Alliance is in such a bad shape. I talked to a lot of guys. I've spent a lot of times on the forums, and all the Alliance players are upset about it, are having the same issues as I have, and I'm kind of pissed off that the Alliance side is so completely fucked up, so full of bugs. Right now, if you're logging into the PTR, there's another problem. You get the quest from King Rin to fly to a docks on all the way at Gorgrond, and then you click on the flight master. He says the flight master will take you there, and it says flight point not found. And there is a way to work around that, is that you have to fly there to the nearest flight point you have, and then you have to jump through the mountains and through walls. And I used the heroic leap ability of my warrior because I had to work around that as well. I had the same problem on my warrior, but I'm not sure if I can do it on my druid without the heroic leap and shit. But you can't even get there. You can't even get the first quest line started on the PTR. It's that bad on the Alliance side. It's really pissing me off, and that's why there is no footage except the Manatom Time Walker dungeon and the Gundrak Time Walker dungeon. So let's talk about those those right now. How are they? They are ridiculously easy. You can see we're 4-manning it right now with a pickup group. With the Blizzard UI, I know I'm not right now. What you're seeing on my screen, I can't check my rates, I can't check some things. My key bindings, I'm pressing my key bindings from the live server, and then my bar switch around because this is the Blizzard UI and it's fucking me over. When I want to interrupt, I'm pressing Shift F4, and then I'm switching bars and all that kind of crap is going on. And I don't have all my keybinds. I did find out, however, if there are no add-ons working on the PTR whatsoever except Bartender. If you download the latest Bartender, which I didn't have back at Manatoms, and at Manatoms at least. The Manatoms I didn't have Bartender installed yet, but you can install Bartender to set up your key bindings. Which I think I did in Gundrak. I do have my key bindings, which makes a lot of things easier, but I don't have my Tell Me When, I don't have my DBM, I don't have anything. Still, we're burning through it. I died at the first boss because the healer was literally AFK, and we didn't know, he didn't let us know, so I died. But it's a big letdown because I used to raid in Burning Crusade, and I did these dungeons on Heroic. About every day I did at least 1 or 2 heroic dungeons, and they were really hard back in the day, and it was one of the things I enjoyed. But right now they're so easy, and all the people who never played in Burning Crusade will be laughing at the Burning Crusade players, saying, hey, these heroics in Burning Crusade were so hard that it's even worse. It's gonna be more difficult than the mythic dungeons. The mythic dungeons are not even as hard as the heroic dungeons from the Burning Crusade, and they're gonna get into these heroic Burning Crusades dungeons during the holidays, the Time Walker dungeons, and they're gonna say this was hard. That's a joke, right? You guys are just with your pink goggles on, and you have no clue what is hard, and you guys thought this was hard. You must be a noob back in the day. No, Blizzard has just made these dungeons incredibly easy. It's way too easy. It's even easier than the current heroic difficulty we have in Warlords of Draenor, and there is no, when I was testing it, was no level 100 loot dropping at all. Blizzard said, yeah, the last boss is, of every boss is gonna drop an item scaled to level 100. So far it didn't. We still get Netherweave Cloth and level 70 and level 16, 70 greenies and all that kind of crap. I hope they will fix that. But the difficulty is just, it's so easy. If you sneeze, bosses will die. I mean, it's sad. It ruins my my experience of the Burning Crusade. Actually, I remember how hard it was. Now it's easy, and I'm like, this is just a joke of what it was, and I think it's not even funny. I think it's kind of sad that they're destroying the reputation of the Burning Crusade with these easy, so easy dungeons. Basically the same. Gundrak will pop up in a moment after I kill this boss, and Gundrak is Wrath of the Lich King dungeons, also a Time Walker dungeon, is just the same. It's so easy. It's almost boring, and yeah, I have no interest in doing this at all. So it's a big letdown. So that's one thing I want to talk about as well. The 6.2 raid is the Hellfire Citadel. I don't have any recordings of these, like I explained. Where are the new dungeons, Blizz? And Blizzard said, yeah, if we make new dungeons like we did in Wrath of the Lich King and like we did in the Burning Crusade and yada yada yada, like in Cataclysm, people will not use them for, they will run them for a couple of weeks maybe, and then they won't run them at all. Which is not entirely true. Really isn't. And the problem, well, it could be, but it's still, I mean, if you remember the Wrath of the Lich King dungeons, when we got those 3 new dungeons, the Forge of Souls and all that kind of stuff, those dungeons were really amazing. Forge of Souls was good, and the other 2, I don't remember the name from the top of my head, they were really good. They were lovely dungeons, the design was really good, the mechanics were really good, and I had a blast with those 3 dungeons. In my opinion, they're like my favorite dungeons since the Burning Crusade. They're like, for any patch dungeons, they're the best dungeons ever added to an expansion. They're amazingly good. I love those, and I know a lot of guys were like, we didn't have looking for raid back then, and then we had some, in my guild we had a lot of socials as well. We had 2 raiding teams going, and we also had a lot of socials, and those socials just enjoyed going through, getting level 80, doing the heroic dungeons from let's say the release of Wrath of the Lich King, and then doing these last 3, because you needed higher item level to actually get to the last 3 dungeons, Forge of Souls and all that kind of crap, and they really enjoyed it. And they were like, I know people were saying like, I couldn't really do this on every alt. Go through the release dungeons. When they released Wrath of the Lich King, the heroic dungeons, they were there at release, gearing my character up from the epics that drop at the last boss, and then making my way to the last 3 heroic dungeons, which felt for those people a little bit like the in heroic dungeons in the 5-man content. It felt like the final step, and the storyline was really good. With each dungeon you came close to Arthas, with the Halls of Reflection being Arthas. You actually faced Arthas, you didn't kill him but you faced him. But it gave, for a lot of social players who couldn't raid, it gave that kind of closure, like, okay, we did everything as we could, and now it's up to the raiding people to finish him off. And they actually saw it as end content on the 5-man, and they loved it, they absolutely adored it, and it's such a letdown. So it was a really good dungeon, but currently the heroic Wrath of the Lich King dungeons that being added through the Time Walker system are a joke as well, not fun at all. And I know that Hellfire Citadel and Outland has 3 dungeons, ramparts and all that, and 2 others. Shattered Halls, I think, and one more, which I don't remember the name right now. It doesn't matter. They have 3 dungeons. Where are those 3 dungeons, Blizzard? You could bring back those 3 dungeons that are in the Outland version of Hellfire Citadel. You could have released them in this 6.2 patch, bringing 3 new dungeons in. It fits perfectly. Hellfire Citadel from Outland is right now is also the Hellfire Citadel right now in Warlords of Draenor. So those 3 dungeons that are there in Hellfire Citadel in Outland could have been copied over to 6.2. Even then, they would not be completely new. They would be a revamped model from the level 70 dungeon. Of course, the Hellfire Citadel was broken down and was for a part destroyed in Outland at level 70. So the dungeons could be had a revamp, had some more wings in it, or some parts we didn't visit during the Burning Crusade, but and still it was old content updated to Warlords of Draenor. At least it was new. The thing we get is in 6.2 right now is mythic dungeons, which are going to be alright because of the gear, because of some people gonna need those gear on alts, or if they didn't do a lot on their main, because right now you wanna quit WoW, and they're gonna do like, yeah, I'm gonna use those dungeons to gear up and go through those mythic dungeons. But once the people are geared up from normal, heroic, and mythic Hellfire Citadel raid, those mythic dungeons, which they're harder than heroic, but they're not like Burning Crusade heroic dungeons. There were guilds that couldn't clear them unless they were tier 4 back in the Burning Crusade. If they were tier 4 geared, then they would go into the heroic dungeons and clear them. These mythic dungeons, yes, they're a step up, but they're not that hard. And the moment people have the normal heroic and mythic gear from Hellfire Citadel, they're gonna clear them very fast and very easy, but also then they don't need the gear anymore. And those dungeons are gonna die off as well. So the mythic dungeons are going to die off really fast, step 1. Because Bill said, hey, yeah, if we add in new dungeons, people are gonna run them like the first 3, 4, 5 weeks, and then they're not gonna do them anymore. It's gonna be the same with the mythic dungeons. And they brought in the Time Walker dungeons, which is really lazy as well. But they didn't, it's too easy, so people are gonna do them in like the first couple of weekends and holidays there is, and then they're like, yeah, I've done them all, I can rush through them in like 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm not getting any satisfaction out of them, and the rewards are not that great, so yeah, I'm done. Then again, the whole dungeon part of Warlords of Draenor has failed again. The only thing that they should do is bring in new battlegrounds and new dungeons. That's what Warlords of Draenor need. They need to be it needs content outside of raiding. If you don't raid and you're in PvP, you have Ashran, but you don't have a new battleground. And if you raid, you have one new raid, you have some dungeons where you probably don't need anything, but you're gonna do them once or twice just for the fun of it. And then you have nothing to do again. Yes, there's Supreme Lord Kazak, it's not Doom Lord Kazak, but you're gonna do them like 2 or 3 times, and then you're gonna be done with him as well. And there's not gonna be any content to do if you're already raiding. And that's the big problem. That leads us to the subdrop in Warlords of Draenor. The sub drops from 10 million to 7.1, and that's a huge drop off. That's amazing. And that's really low. I mean, if you look at that, Siege of Orgrimmar was out for 14 months, and we dropped down to 6.8 million people still playing at the end of it. And now but that was at the end of an expansion with a raid of 14 months. Right now, the gaps between the raids between Highmall and Blackrock Foundry are not that big, but already it dropped off from 10 million to 7.1 over the last couple of months, which over 1 quarter, over 4 months instead of 14 months. Get that straight. It's not 4. We went down to 6.8 million people during 14 months basically. We lost the most amount of people because of Siege of Orgrimmar was out for 14 months. Of course, we lost already people before Siege of Orgrimmar. Don't get me wrong, but we lost a lot because of that 14 months. The same rate for 14 months. Right now, we lost in 1 quarter in 4 months. We lost 2.9 million people. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's really bad. And Blizzard has done nothing to say, hey, we got something for you to come back. Because things I have seen on the PTR and the things I'm watching on other people's channels and the info I'm reading, and I'm keeping a close eye on every website I can. Because I can't log in right now. I'm gonna try again with my druid, and if I can record stuff I will, don't get me wrong. But there is nothing to do outside raiding, and it's only run raid. And my problem is with Blizzard right now, they have the biggest team ever working on World of Warcraft. There's no Farallon, the Netherstorm area is not fitted in, and all the promises they made at the first time Draenor was announced, a lot of that stuff never came out, never got into Draenor, and this could have been a great expansion, and they really screwed us over. Garrisons are a big part of that, a big problem, because you feel trapped inside the garrisons. It screwed over professions and the economy system in World of Warcraft. And the thing is that Blizzard is not willing to event right now in World of Warcraft. They're not willing to put money and effort into Draenor, because everybody is sick and tired of the garrison, and you're gonna build a shipyard, which is funny the first time, is that you can do it in like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and you're gonna be done. And then you have Garrisons 2.0, and I'm calling it 2.0 because it's new with ships, but that's about it. It's the same shit. Ships with different abilities, which will counter ships with certain abilities. That's it. It's basically the same thing. Instead of using your followers, you're gonna use your ships. That's about it. So again, we're having that command table, and Blizzard needed to realize, like, we already did a garrison that failed horribly. It made the game worse. We need to step up. We need to make new dungeons. We need to make new battlegrounds and new arenas and stuff for the PvPers. We need to give the raiders something to do outside of raiding. And they didn't do anything. And they just like, no, we went down this road. We're gonna finish this road. And we're not going to look back. We're not going to learn from the mistakes. We're not going to listen to the people who are complaining, who are bored of Warlords or Draenor, and saying like, please, for the love of God, give us something to do. And then like, no, we set out this path, and even though this path is leading into a dead end in a dark down alley, which you don't want to be in, still going to do it. And I know for a fact that Hellfire Citadel is gonna be great. I'm really what I'm hearing, if I'm talking to players who actually tested it, and some of my guildies actually did it on their hotjars, and I talked to those guys, and they're saying it's an amazing raid, it's really good. Yeah, it's good until you have cleared it. And Hellfire Citadel is going to be a great raid. I have no doubts about that. It's going to be an amazing raid, but once you've cleared it, you're done. Now what? I can do it on Look Afraid, Normal, Heroic, and Mythic, and after you did it on Normal and Heroic, if you're that kind of guy who's gonna push himself to do Mythic, good for you, of course, but you're gonna do the same stuff over and over and over again, but still, outside of the raiding, there's nothing to do, and that's what Warlords needs right now. My only hope is really, and that's, if I'm looking back at Mists of Pandaria, we got the Legendary Cloak in the last patch, and right now we're getting our Legendary Ring in 6.2, and I really hope with all my heart that 6.2 is going to be the final patch for Warlords of Draenor. I'm not joking. I really hope it's the final patch, and I hope that that amazingly big team of what Blizzard has right now working on World of Warcraft, that they're coming out with a hell of an expansion in about 6 or 7 months. Right now, I'm hearing that 6.2 is going to be released somewhere in the end of May. I'm hoping that in November, December max, about 7 months from now, 7.5 months from now, we will have a brand new expansion, which will have, and in that expansion, that Blizzard has learned from his mistakes, saying, okay, we failed in Mists of Pandaria with certain things, we failed in Warlords of Draenor in certain ways, the garrisons were a failure. We know we made mistakes, okay, and this time we learn from them, and we will bring you this amazing expansion, which we're all gonna have a hell of a good time, and I really hope that will happen, because World of Warcraft community needs this. If I want to do repetitive gameplay, I will play Diablo 3. When I am playing Diablo 3 because I'm enjoying it more than Warlords of Draenor right now, and that's a crazy thought. Diablo 3 is, I'm currently on I don't know, I'm currently leveling some characters up because I think it's even, there's more to do there, even though it's rinse and repeat, but there's more to do there currently than in Warlords of Draenor, because outside your garrisons there's nothing waiting for you, and that's not going to change in 6.2, except instead of putting your followers on, you're going to send your ships away, you're gonna do your raid, and then yeah, my raid's done. Now what? Yeah, nothing. You can go play another game. Right now I'm playing Team Fortress 2. I'm playing Heroes of the Storm, and I'm hoping to get a beta key for Overwatch, because I'm a big shooter fan. I'm playing Battlefield 4 and all that kind of stuff, and I'm hoping to get into the Overwatch beta or alpha of whatever its state is going to be, because I'm bored right now, because outside of raiding there's nothing to do, and it's really a sad thing. Will the subscribers go up? They will go up maybe with the tokens. The tokens could be a way that people say, hey, I'm done paying for them, but I will use some gold so I can keep locked in, so I can get my legendary ring for LFR and all that kind of stuff. The new patch always brings back some players, but I'm thinking at the end of the day those players are gonna come back for like a month, maybe 2 months, and they're gonna leave again, and we're gonna be around 7.1 million like we are now, even dropping down to 6.8 when this expansion is over. And then I'm hoping that Blizzard is ready to announce a really great expansion for us, and then we can all which we can all enjoy with all the mistakes out of it and have a great time. Well, if you like my videos, guys, this is my end of my rambling video about Warlords of Draenor. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video. This is Dr. and this guy from Genta, wishing you all a very nice day. Bye, guys.